This current generation has been a truly fascinating one. I don't think we've ever gotten this far into a generation and have had almost no current gen exclusives. Most games either come to PS4 and Xbox One, and the most daring games are PS5 and PC only. Even Sony's own first-party games are like this: God of War, Horizon Forbidden West. As beautiful as those games are, it's easy to forget those games also run on a PS4. Final Fantasy XVI will be one of the first few games to shake things up in that regard, being an actual current-gen PS5 exclusive. And as per the paycheck that Sony cut Square Enix, one must remind you that it uses the full power of the PlayStation 5. All of this probably sounds great, but so many of you are thinking, well, I still do not have a PS5. Square Enix and Sony have heard you. After all, I know so many of you are buying a PS5 specifically for Final Fantasy XVI and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Well, I got some great news. Sony and Square Enix are partnering together to bring you a Final Fantasy XVI PS5 bundle. For those unfamiliar, this is a pretty long-standing tradition. There was an Advent Children PS3, there was also a Final Fantasy XIII PS3, as well as a Final Fantasy XV PS4. Now, these previous ones were Japan exclusive, and that was probably for a good reason. For the past two generations, PlayStation sales are not what they used to be, and that's because there's not really a large-scale console market in Japan anymore. So the greatest hope with this brand new bundle is that it is going to encourage a ton of people in Japan who want to play Final Fantasy XVI, who currently don't own a console. They're just going to be able to pick this thing up and have the game and the console together. Now, I know what you're thinking, NSP, I live here in the US, or I live in Europe, and I want that PS5 bundle. I have good news. Sony and Square have finally realized that there are more people outside of Japan that also do indeed want that PS5 bundle. This is not going to be a Japan-only thing, and you will be able to pre-order this limited edition bundle starting on May 4th. So please go ahead and mark your calendars. Now again, while the PS5 unit itself is not going to be special, there are some special accessories that they're going to be selling so that you can FF16ify your PS5. Starting with the limited edition Final Fantasy XVI DualSense controller. This controller is notably black and also has some nice designs on it. Now you might be thinking, oh, but that won't match my white PS5. And my friend, you are in luck. They are also going to be selling these beautiful black faceplates for the PS5 with a beautiful golden Final Fantasy XVI logo on it. And of course, you'd be able to slap that on your current PS5 without having to buy a brand new one. Now here is the slightly, I don't want to say unfortunate, but uncertain news. It's currently unknown, as of the recording of this video, whether or not the DualSense controller and the faceplates are coming to basically everywhere outside of Japan. Worst come to worst, you may have to import these, and that's going to be an absolute nightmare to do. So my greatest hope is that these will not just be locked down to Japan, but those of us in the US and Canada and Europe, etc. will also be able to purchase these items if we want them. That being said, I think the most important thing here is the bundle, absolutely, and that is coming to the West. Now there is one other thing that you should know about this bundle, and anyone who has any experiences with bundles like this should probably already know. They are not going to be giving you a physical copy of the game. Now for someone like myself who is mostly digital nowadays, especially because, to be frank, I'm a PC gamer more than anything, I really don't mind a digital version of most games if I'm fully honest. However, I know some of you who will not buy a game unless you can get it physical. So for those of you who are like that, you should know that you will not be getting a physical copy of FF16 put in there with the PS5. It is going to just be a digital code that you're going to redeem on PSN, and that'll be it. It's good to see that they're aware that this game is only coming to PS5 and that not everyone has a PS5 yet. While PS5 shortages are getting tremendously better now, now, and the odds that you can walk into a store and actually buy a PS5 are a lot higher than what they were, it's still going to take some time for everyone to be able to get their hands on one. And for those of you who are trying to get your hands on one specifically because you want to play Final Fantasy XVI and you want to play it day one, I really don't think there's a better option. Shout out to patron Sutego Ichigo and the rest of the Ultima community.